public hearing, public comment, or during a specific agenda item. If you wish to, please complete the request to speak card at the front and provide it to the recording secretary. When it is your turn to speak, you will have 2 minutes to speak. The Brown Act governs meetings of governmental bodies in California. Your comments to the board must be specific to the agenda item that you are addressing. If there is no specific item, you are welcome to present comments during public comment. Please note that you are attending a public meeting of the Board of Trustees doing the public's business. This is not a public forum for public debate. We will now start with our land acknowledgement. Member Martinez, please read the land acknowledgement.
All right. We acknowledge that Oak Grove School District and our schools occupy the unceded territory of the Mojave Nation, the Sarga Nation, and the original people of the skies, land, and waters, where we were born and learn. The Mojave Ohlone people are stewards of the lands and of the teachings and learnings that come from in response to the needs of the land and people we share. May our daily lives and work, research, teaching, community engagement support the evolving vision of the Mojave Ohlone for the community and these lands.
Thank you, Member Martinez. We will now move on to the Pledge of Allegiance. We have special guests this evening to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Please welcome the Girl Scouts Junior Troop 60174 to lead us in the pledge. The troop is composed of 4th and 5th graders from Oak Grove Elementary Schools, Santa Teresa, Del Roble, Sakamoto, Indigo, and Frost. Last year, this troop wrote and was awarded grants from the Santa Clara Valley Water Authority to purchase and install new water bottle filling stations at 2 of our schools. We thank the Girl Scouts for their leadership, civic engagement, and commitment to community service.
I pledge allegiance to the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Wow, thank you so much. And what school do you go to?
Sakamoto School.
Oh, very nice.
Sakamoto.
Del Roble?
Santa Teresa.
Santa Teresa.
Santa Teresa. Santa Teresa. Santa Teresa.
Okay, muy bien. All right, we're going to take a picture. Nice job. Thank you, girls. And we have some certificates for you as well. Let's see the picture here. All right, thank you. Nice job. Gracias. Thank you.
Thank you, Girl Scouts troop. You guys did an awesome job. This takes us now to the superintendent's report. Superintendent Chidas, please present your report.
Thank you, President Yu. Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to the 25-26 school year. We have a great event, recognitions this evening. But first, I want to thank Burnell Principal, Ms. Tammy Hung, Assistant Principal Maria Smith, and the Burnell staff for graciously hosting our board meeting tonight. Currently, our school board meeting, yes, give them an applause, yes. Currently, our school board is under construction and modernization, similar to many of your own school sites being modernized. And I want to say thank you once again to our community for voting yes and supporting Measure P, a great investment to all of our facilities, to our schools, and our students. Now, it is my pleasure to invite our Student, Family, and Community Services Coordinator, Mrs. Shannon Bowie, to the podium to present certificates to our valued community partners who participated in our back-to-school resource fair in early August. Following Mrs. Bowie, I would like to thank Associate Superintendent Bowles and Assistant Superintendent Anna, who will be reading the names of our 2024-25 Exemplary Staff Vision Awards, followed by the recognition of the 2025 Oak Grove School District Teacher of the Year. Now, I would like to invite all the board members to the front of the dais to greet our award recipients, to shake hands, pass out the awards, and take a photo with them. And we'll be up for about 20 minutes. All right, thank you, Mr. Booth.
Hey, thank you, Dr. Titus. We had an amazing back-to-school resource fair on August 6th at Davidson Immediate. I want to take a moment to highlight the exceptional work of Sochi Macias and our community liaison team in organizing this annual event. This event serves as a valuable community resource where we invite our families with the highest needs and under-resourced families to access free resources in preparation for the new school year. I'd like to extend sincere thanks to our community partners who made this event possible. Councilmember Pamela Campos in her office, San Jose Public Library, Second Harvest Food Bank, San Jose State Healthy Development Center, Santa Clara Family Health Plan. And a special thanks to the staff at Davis for graciously hosting the event and our district nurses for providing free hearing and vision screenings. But I did want to take a few minutes to acknowledge 3 different groups today. First, I'd like to invite DJ Jesse Morales to come up. So we are especially grateful to Jesse Morales, a parent of a former Edenvale student and a current Davis student, who generously volunteered his time and talent to support this fair. His upbeat music created an energetic and welcoming atmosphere, and he played an integral role in event communications through his engaging announcements. His contribution significantly enhanced the experience for all attendees. Thank you, Jesse. I'd also like to invite Devin Pham and his family to come up. A heartfelt thank you to Devin Pham and the students and instructors from Cosmetech College, located just down the street on Blossom Hill. They provided professional haircuts to our students completely free of charge. Recognizing the high turnout and lines of students waiting, Devin recruited additional hairstylists to ensure as many children as possible receive haircuts on the spot, even staying behind the scheduled time to serve more families. The generosity of Cosmetech College made a lasting impact on the OGSD community, so thank you, Devin and team. Lastly, I'd like to invite representatives from the Green Education Foundation. Green Education Foundation is a public charity dedicated to promoting environmental education in schools. We are honored today to have Charlene Nijma, Chairwoman of the Green Education Foundation and of the Mwekma Ohlone Tribe in attendance. The foundation generously donated over 150 backpacks to our students. Families eagerly lined up for the backpacks and haircuts and stayed to enjoy the welcoming and festive atmosphere. So thank you to Charlene and the team for your continued support and commitment to our community.
Thank you.
All right, good evening. It is my pleasure to honor our Exemplary Staff Vision Award recipients tonight. These recipients were selected for their work in 2024-2025 based on the following criteria. Develops, seeks out, and attends or facilitates ongoing professional development, programs that reflect current research and exemplary practices, and successfully implements new learnings and serves as a model or coach for others. Second, aggressively recruits quality staff who are committed to excellence and able to meet the diverse needs of students and community. Also, consistently seeks feedback about job performance, engages in peer coaching activities and training that supports reflection and self or peer evaluation, develops support systems to enhance professional understanding and continuous improvement, reflects and critically uses feedback for improvement, and lastly is an exemplary model of the district core values. Wow, what fantastic employees we're going to be honoring tonight for exemplary staff. And my colleague, Assistant Superintendent Anna, will help me read the second half. When I read your name, please come on up to take a picture. You'll get your certificate and we'll do a group photo at the end. First, from Anderson Elementary School, TKK Special Education Instructional Assistant, Viridiana Campos Martinez. Also from Anderson Elementary School, TK and Kindergarten Special Education Instructional Assistant, Florence Wu. Next from Baldwin Elementary School, English Language Development Instructional Assistant, Bonnie Conjarla. Also supporting Baldwin Elementary School, English Language Teacher Partner, Teddy Mills. From Burnell Intermediate School, Specialized Academic Instruction Teacher Jennifer Becker. Also from Burnell Intermediate, School Psychologist Sarah Woodrum. Being recognized from Business Services Benefits Technician Carrie Newton. From Christopher Elementary School, 3rd grade teacher Amanda Fine. Also from Christopher, 3rd grade teacher Jasmine Rios. From Davis Intermediate School, lead custodian Oscar Zamaripa. From Del Roble Elementary School, 5th grade, two-way bilingual immersion teacher Alejandro Martinez. Ms. Martinez went from kindergarten to 5th grade this year. Wow, she is a jack of all trades, or Jill of all trades. Thank you. And from Edendale Elementary School, 1st and 2nd grade combination class teacher Carrie Summer.
Okay, I'll take it from here, from Hayes Elementary, 2nd grade teacher, Crystal Alanis. Also from Hayes Elementary School. Parkview Elementary, third grade teacher, Vanessa Wright. From Sakamoto Elementary, first grade teacher, Susan Gerbrandt. From Santa Teresa Elementary, Extensive Needs SDC, Mindy Lobray. Also from Santa Teresa Elementary, first grade teacher, Allison Rice. From the District Office Special Education Team, Program Specialist, Jenna Collin. From STEAM at Site Elementary, fifth grade teacher, Monica Duran. Also from STEAM at Site, Community Liaison, Paula Sagoon. And from Taylor Elementary, RSP Instructional Assistant, Mei Chow Lin. Also from Taylor Elementary, third grade teacher, Marissa Urias Jiangsan. The Santa Clara County Teacher of the Year Award honors exceptional classroom teachers from across the county school districts. Each district selects one educator who exemplifies outstanding engagement, instructional creativity, commitment to professional growth, and advocacy for students and the broader educational community. This recognition is considered the most prestigious local award bestowed upon classroom teachers. This year's recipient is an English language arts teacher at Davis Intermediate School and a National Board Certified Educator whose passion for teaching has had a profound impact on the Davis community and is truly inspiring. She will be honored at the 55th Annual Teacher Recognition Celebration hosted by the Santa Clara County Office of Education in October of this year. Please join us in congratulating Ms. Christy Morikawa on this well-deserved recognition. Congratulations, Christy. We look forward to recognizing you again in October. We will take a 5-minute recess at this time.
Alright, seeing as there are no comments, I will now close the public hearing. We will now move on to 5.1, public comment. This is an opportunity for individuals to address the board on any school-related issue, which is not a part of this evening's agenda. Pursuant to Board Bylaw 9323, members of the public shall not approach the dais at any time during a board meeting unless invited to do so by the board or district staff. If a member of the public wishes to provide written or visual information to the board during the meeting, they shall provide that information to an executive team member who will distribute the information to the board if appropriate. Please note that if your public comment is in regards to the district budget or finance, we ask that you give your public comment when we get to action item 7.1. Are there any public comment cards for individuals who wish to speak to the board at this time?
Yes.
All right, just as a reminder, everyone has 2 minutes to speak. All right, so our first public comment is from Val Wood. Please come to the podium.
For those of you who didn't miss me, for those of you who don't know me, I was a special education teacher in the district for almost 20 years. As a reminder to us all, yesterday was another school shooting. Today is September 11th, the anniversary of a tragedy for our nation. 24 years ago, on September 12th, we came together and did better as a nation. Though retired, I am still an avid union and OGEA supporter. And when I see my former colleagues were working without a contract and offered a measly 2% raise, I had to come here and stand up for them. The school is a place of learning and education. Education is provided by teachers, which includes the paras in our SEC and TK classrooms, health clerks, school secretaries, sites, counselors, adaptive PE teachers, occupational therapists, and speech and language therapists. They are the ones who have daily contact with students. They are the ones who make the greatest impact on students and families. They are the ones that students will remember for the rest of their lives. Yeah, I know those of you who work in the district office have an important job, but they're non-student contact jobs. You support the mission of the district, which is the concept of school, which is education provided by the folks behind me. Please, treat the teaching staff with respect and offer an actual and meaningful raise. Teaching staff shouldn't have to have a second job to pay their bills, to be able to afford the supplemental materials that make their classroom a warm and engaging center for learning. 2% is an insult, especially when the exec team is amongst the highest paid in the county. 6% barely meets the need to match the current economic climate. A 10% raise. Smaller class.
Thank you, Val. Your turn.
Those in front do better.
The next speaker is Rohan Kamath, and then after Rohan, we will have Melissa Lee Lewis.
Good evening, Superintendent, Board members, Executive Team. My name is Rohan Kamath. I'm a 6th grade teacher at Hayes Elementary, where I've worked for the last 20 years. When I started, I was not a great teacher, but today I can confidently say that I'm a much better teacher. The reason why is because of the years of work I put in, the years of making mistakes and learning and getting better, the years of trainings I went to, the years of AD days, PEs, and the ability to stay at the same school or same district for 20 years. I'm a teacher that Oak Grove has invested in and helped develop. When teachers leave our district, that's not a way of saving money, that's a way of losing money. Because that's your investment walking out the door. That's your investment teaching at another district. The district has been working so hard to invest in modernizing all the buildings. But these buildings don't matter if there are no kids in the classes. And the kids don't learn anything if there isn't quality teachers in each room. I want to stay here another 20 years. But it's hard when I see year after year my peers and colleagues leaving to other districts and doing well. Please, 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 don't lose high-quality teachers who love to work for you just to save money. Please think of the high-quality work and dedication that we do to help nurture, care, and teach these kids. We are your investment just as much as the kids. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Melissa, and I'm a teacher at Kermit. I actually left this district once before because of the low pay. I worked at a district in Mountain View that increased my pay by more than 25% between the years of 2022 and 2024. That district wasn't what I had hoped it would be, and I took some time off from teaching after having my baby. After my maternity leave, I found my way back to OGSD, seeing that the pay had improved considerably since I had left 2 years before. I was hoping that it would continue to increase the pay for teachers in the years to come, but I have been disappointed by the recent proposal of 2%. I love being back at my home district. I love my staff, I love my students, I love this community. This is the community I grew up in. However, in the last year, since I've been back, I've definitely felt the difference when paying my bills. After taxes, I'm taking home about $1,000 less than my previous district. That makes a difference when you're raising a family. I'm paying almost $600 for my family's health insurance, and prices on groceries keep going up. I consider myself lucky because my mother is my child care, but I try to pay her fairly. When I had a second child, it would have been right to pay her more, but I can't afford to pay her any more than I currently do. I've had to dip into my savings several times, being back at this district for things like life insurance and car insurance premiums. I love being back at OGSD, but I don't love stressing about my bills. Prices are going to continue to go up throughout our lifetime, and our pay must keep up. Teachers at OGSD deserve to love their job and be content with their pay. We deserve the 6% raise, an additional increase in the following 2 years, which are included in this negotiation. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Mariana Garcia Serrano, followed by Brenna Jewell.
Good evening, back here again. Mariana Garcia Serrano, STEM teacher at Adventure and resident of boarding area 5. Back in August, Dr. China shared the district's motto, building futures together. Every day teachers live that motto, but right now it doesn't feel like we're building futures together. We are working on an expired contract while facing rising costs. Since 2023, healthcare premiums have jumped over 40%. 2 years ago, the district covered all employee premiums and families paid about 4%. Today, employees pay 15% and families nearly 18%. In last night's negotiation update, the district claimed that their offer adds up to 6.75%, but that number is misleading. Only 2% is an ongoing raise. The bonus disappears after this year, and the benefit contributions are erased by skyrocketing premiums. Teachers need permanent solutions, not temporary patches. That is why we are asking for a 6% raise and coverage of 100% of employee healthcare premiums and 90% for families. The district has $35 million surplus, and nearly $8 million this year was budgeted for consultants. A fair raise for teachers would cost about $3.7 million. And while increasing the district's share in healthcare costs would add more, the money clearly exists. What's missing is the will to prioritize educators. If this district truly believes in building futures together, then the future has to include teachers. We cannot say you are building futures together if you are unwilling to build up the people that teach your children. It is time for action, it is time for respect, and it is time for the contract that proves that teachers matter to this district. Thank you.
Good evening, Brenna Jewell, and I'm a teacher at Oak Ridge, and I'm a community member of Sakamoto. I'm here tonight because it's time to use our outside voices and speak up for what we deserve. We, meaning ourselves, our students, our families, and our community. Management's offers are not adequate. With inflation, cost of living, groceries, daycare costs, and ongoing healthcare increases, just to name a few, the 2% raise is not enough. I live in the community where I work, and I'm struggling. Many teachers have multiple jobs or are just barely scraping by, trying to make ends meet just like I am. This is not the life I planned for myself and my son when I started out in Oak Grove 17 years ago. I cannot afford to live and work in Oak Grove School District. Our students thrive when teachers can afford to stay in this profession and in our community. I also wanted to mention that I received an award tonight, as you know, and this has been a goal of mine for as long as I have been an employee here. I've always wanted to receive that Exemplary Staff Award, and I'm so proud and thankful for this recognition. However, I feel like I was robbed the opportunity to receive it in front of my colleagues at the Welcome Back event prior to the first day of school. There are many reasons why it was canceled, but I just want you to know my opinion is because we're angry and we have the right to be angry. It's time to use our outside voices. We are backing down, we're tired, overworked, underpaid, and we are constantly doing more every single time. Show us that we are valued and respected. If we want to keep strong schools and great educators in classrooms, we must invest in them fairly. Prioritizing our students means prioritizing teachers. This fair raise and fair contract is not optional, it's essential. Thank you.
Next speaker is Sarah, and I apologize for how I'm going to pronounce your last name. Giannocaro?
My name is Sarah Giannocaro. I'm a lifelong San Jose resident and a homeowner in voting area 4. My daughter attended OGSD from TK through 8 and is now a sophomore in Santa Teresa. I'm an occupational therapist and the classified union president of the Santa Clara County Office of Education, a defender of public education. The district claims financial issues that there are healthy reserves. According to the second interim report, the district expects an increase in revenue from the state by 15.1% and local revenue by 11.9%, while reporting an expected decrease in budgeted expenditures. Despite the overall decrease in expenditures, the district appears to be hiding funds through very high allocations that do not reflect actual expenditures. Object Code 5800 has an increase of 46%, or over $1.2 million. Vice President Airbear attributed this to an unanticipated increase of $900,000 for contractor transportation. If your transportation costs are actually that much higher than anticipated, why were they, and how will you ensure accurate projections in the future? Work with asking you to hire more bus drivers, which reduces expenses and creates more stability and safety for students. When the unaudited actuals are released in a couple of weeks, I hope you'll look carefully at how the expenditures actually compare to the budget. Object Code 4000 and 4099 allocates an additional almost $1.9 million over the initial $1.4 million, which is more than double, despite the fact that they've only spent $833,000 at the time. If the district claims that these are restricted funds and due to procurements late in the year, what is the source of these funds? What are they restricted to? A program or a particular group of students? Can they offset unrestricted funds being used in the same restricted categories or staff's out-of-pocket expenses? Salaries and benefits must be competitive to ensure that staff, who are my friends, neighbors, colleagues, and my daughter's former teachers, can afford to live in one of the most expensive cities in the country. A 2% salary increase as insurance costs have climbed by nearly 40% over the last 2 years means staff are falling behind, with lower paid staff impacted even more. The district must prioritize reducing healthcare costs and increasing compensation to build a future in the district. Turn appreciation into action and prioritize our students and community by investing in staff.
Our next speaker is Bob Prola, followed by Christina Chen.
Good evening, board. Students are our priority. These folks behind me sacrifice every single day to make education the best possible in the state of California. Right now, management and this school board are not making students a priority. When teachers have to pay hundreds of dollars out of pocket every month for healthcare and they can't afford healthcare for their families, you're not making students a priority. When the cost of living is so high that the teachers can't afford to live here, you are not making students a priority. When rent and housing prices are unaffordable for teachers and they cannot live in the community where they teach, students are not your priority. When teachers come into work tired because they had to work a second job the night before, that means you are not making students a priority. These teachers sacrifice every single day. We're paying hundreds and hundreds more dollars per month out of our pockets for healthcare. This was a management-created healthcare crisis. They pulled us out of a pool 3 years ago, and our premiums have skyrocketed almost 50% since then. We are paying the price for your mistake. And I understand it was the previous superintendent, but let's take some responsibility for this. Teachers cannot afford this. You can't afford this. Let's settle a fair contract. Let's make students everyone's priority because they're our priority and they should be yours too. Thank you.
Good evening, board members. My name is Christina, and I'm a proud member of OGA and a dedicated educator in this district. I'm here tonight to urge you to accept OGA's proposal for a fair salary increase and a floating cap on health benefits. The $3.7 million it would take to give teachers the raise they deserve is just a drop in the bucket of the district's total budget. But for us, it's the difference between staying or leaving the profession. When salaries don't cover basic needs, rent, food, healthcare, teachers are forced to make impossible choices. Many are already working second jobs, which is why they couldn't be here today. And for new educators, especially recent grads burdened with student debt, the financial strain is often too much to bear. We are losing passionate, talented individuals not because they don't love teaching, but because they simply can't afford to stay. We all know that students can't thrive in schools when their needs aren't met. The same is true for teachers. When we're struggling to survive, we can't fully show up for our students. This isn't just a financial issue, it's a student success issue. As much as AI and technology are changing the world, students still need real human connection. Teachers are the backbone of that connection. We build relationships, foster trust, and create safe spaces for learning and growth. That kind of impact can't be automated. Retaining seasoned teachers and supporting new ones builds strong school communities. Please show that you value the people who make learning possible. Accept OGA's proposal and invest in the educators who invest every day in your students. Thank you.
Our next speakers are Renee Brotherston, followed by Cristiara Garcia.
Good evening, board. I'm here as a CSA member, but I'm supporting OGA tonight. Whether you're OGA or CSA, the school year has not been smooth. We have overcrowded classrooms, student placements in SPED are a mess, and our sites have contractors yet again. Not one, not two, but many. And I've been told that the contractor budget is a huge problem for OGSD. So why are we supporting contractors and not our staff? That's a great question. But however, I want to go to a recent district newsletter. It says the district wants to clarify that teachers and certificated staff are not working without a contract. The newsletter cites language from Article 22 of the Collective Bargaining Agreement, which says the contract remains in effect from June 30th, 2025 and continues year, including after, unless a formal writer to amend. Here's a problem though. June 30th has passed. And while yes, they are currently in active negotiations for a new contract, what fails to be mentioned is they're operating with terms that are expired. They are not working with an active, mutual, agreed upon terms with their exec team. This distinction matters. It matters because the very gray wording that educators are not working without a contract is misleading and dismissive. There are very real challenges that you have to face right now, and the uncertainties that come from working without a proper in-place contract is not appropriate. Your teachers are your backbone, and they don't have a contract. That's the bottom line. So don't tell our community they're working within contract. They are not. They are working with expired terms. The community and staff deserve honest, transparent communication. They are following terms of a previous contract out of professionalism and a desire to support our students, not because we have an active agreement. So for OGA, I do stand up for them and support. They deserve a contract.
Thank you. Can we have Christiara, please?
My name is Christiara Garcia, and I am a teacher at Frost Elementary. When I applied for Oak Grove School District, it was because I was influenced by the teachers who serve and continue to serve the district that I was raised in. I was told that OGSD valued their teachers, and I saw that in my first year teaching. 4 years ago, I was hospitalized for days due to the stress and a weak immune system from the workload. I was relieved, though, to know that my health insurance through Oak Grove School District covered my bills, and the only thing I had to worry about at the time was recovering. I cannot say that confidently now that Oak Grove School District values its teachers today when they are unwillingly to fully cover their employees' health benefits. My salary does not support this change in benefits. While I love serving the community I grew up in, I shouldn't have to choose between my well-being and my students.
Thank you. Our next speakers are Sarah Nolan, followed by Christine Hogan-Sesh. Hogan-Esh, thank you.
Hi. For those who don't know me, my name is Sarah Nolan, and I've been at Oak Grove School District for 28 years. I've worked through 5 superintendents, I think, and I cannot remember a time when our contract negotiations were so insulting. According to an article that came out this morning in the Wall Street Journal, consumer prices have risen 2.9%. As you can tell, that is higher than 2%. According to the Department of Labor, the consumer price index has risen 3.1%, also higher than 2%. Next week at Taylor Elementary, where I teach, we're having a code red drill, where teachers are literally trained and asked to put their lives on the line, which we do willingly. We take that risk willingly. Funeral costs have risen 5.8%, again, more than 2%. Health insurance has risen exponentially, more than 2%. Oak Grove School District is built on the backs of the teachers. They are recognized because of the work that the teachers and the staff in the schools do. At the board meeting at the end of last year, I spoke, and I honestly thought that our district leaders cared about us. And so I didn't really worry about my remarks being prepared then, because never in my wildest dreams did I ever think that I'd be standing here fighting for a fair wage. The work that is asked of us has not decreased. The student class size has not decreased. The hours that each of these teachers has not decreased. By offering a raise that is less than COLA, less than the percentage of consumer increases, you are literally asking us to pay to work at Oak Grove School District. And I have never felt so unappreciated or
It's Hogan-Esh, but it's my fault because I scribbled my name too fast. It's really interesting to me. Looking at a room full of 34 teenagers, and I'm totally fine. I stand here. This is not fun. Okay, great. So I ChatGPT this. Good evening, board members. I'm Chrissy Hogan-Esh over at Harvard School. I'm coming to you with a slightly different topic, although very related to what Ms. Mullen just said, considering the 5% increase in funeral costs. In light of the growing concern surrounding gun violence in schools across the country, It's imperative that we take immediate action to ensure the safety of our students and staff. I'm sure you would agree with me on that. In recent years, we've seen a troubling increase in active shooter incidents in educational institutions, and we can no longer rely on this idea of it won't happen here. We just had our One High Defend drill recently at our campus, and we discovered that the red strap, the 30-cent fix for having to barricade doors, is not to fire code considering all the construction. We were told to lock our doors. That is unacceptable. A reliable and affordable option is, for example, the lockdown system. This device is a heavy-duty barricade that attaches to the inside of classroom doors. Some of us have between 2 to 4 different types of doors we need to secure in these incidences. In the event of an emergency, a teacher can quickly slide this device into place, locking the door, all the doors, with a steel bar that prevents it from being opened on the outside. This system is designed to be installed in minutes and be easily activated without the need of special tools, keys, lifting furniture, plywood, anything like that. It costs about $100 per unit. Okay, so add up all the doors in the classroom or add up all the doors on a campus, and yeah, that's a lot of money. But this is kids' lives, this is teachers' lives. You can't put a price on that. I am disappointed that it is still an issue. I brought this up before, that's why we had red straps. That's not enough. That won't ever do anything. We need an actual way to secure our classrooms so that we can actually save ourselves and the students who are in charge. Thank you.
Next speaker, I believe, is Ryan Chain.
I am a former student of Burnell, and I have always thought that every teacher is working harder than ever. Have you seen how high their patience is with these nearly insane students? It's absolutely crazy. And yet now I'm here to see how low they're paid for such hard jobs. Have you ever seen how hard they work? Have you ever been in their shoes? Probably not. So I believe that you should pay them a lot more. Hell, you should just, sorry. You should pay them what they are asking for, because frankly, they're doing more than what they are even asked to do. They are always working as hard as humanly ever, and I have saw that throughout all my years in Oak Grove School District. They have always put so much kindness and passion into our students. From the start of TK to here, I have saw no teacher in my life was any ruder than what I've seen elsewhere. I would also like to add, wait, what was it? I'm so sorry. I just think that you guys should treat them more fairly, because if you have ever seen how hard they're working, they deserve good compensation for all the work they have done. Thank you.
Thank you. That concludes our public comment section. We will now move on to 5.2, employee bargaining unit comment. Do we have any reports from bargaining unit representatives?
Good evening, Board of Trustees. Students and families should always come first. The money we have today should be used to support today's students. They deserve the best teachers. We also have to protect our students' rights. There are new policies like Mammoth versus Taylor that could put them at risk. But we already have strong protections. The Fair Education Act, the California Healthy Youth Act, ethnic studies requirements, and a board resolution from 2022. Any attack on our LGBTQ+ students or inclusive curriculum is a civil rights violation. Elections are coming in around 1 year, and we need to be careful about which candidates we support. There are individuals out there that want to undo the progress that we have made. We must support leaders who put students and families first and watch out for MAGA candidates that could harm our schools. Here in our district, we're negotiating a contract. You can't balance the budget on educators and students. When teachers leave because of stress, low salary, poor health benefits, classrooms become unstable and learning suffers. Supporting teachers means supporting students. And one last thing, our health benefits should work for us, not for brokers who make money out of us. At the end of the day, our students deserve stability, strong teachers, and schools that welcome everyone. That's how we give them the best. OGEA, si se puede. Si se puede.
Thank you. Do we have any comments from CSEA? All right, thank you. Let's move on to the consent agenda. Superintendent Chaitis, please present the consent agenda.
Thank you, President Yu. At this time, I would like to recommend that the Board of Trustees approve the consent agenda as presented.
Go ahead and motion. Can I get a second, please? Second. Do we have any public comment cards? Okay. All right, any board discussion? No. All right, let's do a roll call vote, please.
Member Yo. Member Matias. Member Torres. Vice President. Aye. President Bieber.
Aye.
Motion carries.
That takes us to action items. Action item 7.1, 2024-25 annual financial report, unaudited actuals / SACS report. Associate Superintendent Evans, can you please present this item?
Thank you, President Yu. May I approach the dais and hand out some handouts? Picks up. Okay. That'll help people at home see.
Yes.
All right. And if you follow along, if you have questions, feel free to ask. Let me see where the markers are. I just wanted to kind of take a few moments and talk about the unaudited actual report. As we close the books, at the end of each year, we do an estimated actuals in June when we're doing our budget. And then over the summer, we actually close the books so that we can see where we finished. The chart on the cover sheet talks about the $35 million that's remaining in the budget. Most of that is restricted funds. Right in there? Okay. About 24 million of that is restricted, and just shy of 11 million of that is unrestricted. Of that money, we're required to keep 3% as reserves, and then the rest is called unassigned. So there's about 5 million in reserves that's required by law, and just shy of 6 million that's unassigned. The year, we actually came pretty much on target from where our estimated actuals are. As we closed the books, we realized about an extra $1 million in revenues. Most of that came from additional TK monies and additional transportation funds. We also had expenditures come in a little bit below normal. Expenditures were about $1 million less, so there's about a $1 million cash savings. About half of that was in unexpensed contractor services. So on $160 million of expenditures, we were within 1% of what we had anticipated. The core issue that we faced is that the revenue side comes in the 140 million range, the low 140 millions, and the expenditure side comes in north of 160 million. So there's deficit spending going on, which is odd to think you have deficit spending, but actually you have a $35 million remainder. Part of that's because of a lot of one-time monies that are coming to a close, and part of that is a lot of it being restricted. So I wanted to kind of talk to you about that, and the handout I shared that's on the attachment, I want to kind of go through and talk about what makes that up, as well as how that's changed. So I'm going to jump over here to the chart, and hopefully that will show through for our audience at home. I'm going to speak a little bit further away, but I'll speak louder. I'm going to use the letters EFB for ending fund balance. And I'm going to talk about last year, 23-24, as well as this year, 24-25. Last year, when we closed our books, we had $45 million in our reserves. Not all spendable, most of it restricted. This year, that number has dropped down to $35.1 million. Okay, a $10 million reduction in the reserves, both restricted and unrestricted. The restricted, and I'll go into detail more about what the restricted is and what that includes. Last year was $27.2 million, and this year that's declined a little bit to $24.3 million. So we are spending down those restricted reserves, which is part of our goal to use that money as much as possible where it can be applied. Now, a restricted fund is specific for a prescribed purpose. And some of those examples would be educator effectiveness grant for professional development, or our after-school program, the extended learning opportunities program that we serve. Our unrestricted is money that is in the bank, and we call it unassigned. We can use it as we please, but there are certain rules we have to follow. 3% of all of our funds have to be set aside as a reserve for financial difficulties. That's a state law, that's a requirement, that's the percentage a district our size has to adhere to. So last year that was $4.5 million. This year, that's $4.9 million. Okay. So what that tells you is our expenditures are going up, right? Because the 3% is increasing. Last year we had unassigned or money in that budget of an additional $13.4 million. But this year, because our expenditures went up and our expenditures and revenues are out of balance, we drew down some of those unassigned sources, and now we have $5.9 million. Okay. And that's not ongoing money. The $5.9 million, and I'll step over here so you can get on the mic a little better. The $5.9 million is like a savings account. Once we spend it, it's gone, and we don't get new revenues of that next year. So we do have to be cautious that it's available to use, but it's not ongoing. All right. Can I answer any questions so far about kind of looking at just the ending fund balance in Fund 1?
Thank you, Mark. Can you just give examples of when you would be able to tap into that 3% reserves?
The 3% reserve is required. You really should never tap into it, because if you do tap into it, then the state sees you as not the positive certification anymore. So once you drop below that 3%, hold it. Once you drop below the 3%, then the state sees you as not a positive rated district anymore, and you need to maintain that over several years, not just the current year. Yes.
In regards to the from last year, from the 13.4 million to the 5.9 million, where was it spent? What was allocated for that?
Those would have gone, that would have gone to our general operations, instruction, support services, and it just is additional funds that we had, so we used it above what our revenues were.
And is that comparable to the year before that?
The last few years, that's been the case. part of that is because we've had one-time monies that carry multiple years, so we've been able to carry that forward. But as those exhaust, that problem then becomes more serious because we don't have the reserves to pay that imbalance anymore.
And each of those, the funding that went from last year to this year, were those approved funds? Were those some, who made the decision to?
Those were approved budgetary expenditures. They were part of the original budgets. So as we approved the budget in June, in the last several years, we've had this deficit format, combination of one-time funds that have spread over multiple years, and a combination of just increasing costs.
I have a quick question. So let's say, as requested, we were able to give a 6%. I am estimating that at 3.9 million, since 2 is 1.3. That would almost eliminate the unassigned 5.9 million and wouldn't be sustainable moving forward, correct?
Right. You could pay the $3.7 million one time, but you would not be able to sustain it in the following years.
So if we had an ongoing increase of 6%, then we would have to make staffing cuts?
We would have to make reductions in program, people, products.
That would impact our students?
Yes, and that is one of the things that the Santa Clara County Office of Education has asked us to do, is to come up with a fiscal solvency plan. I have the budget advisory committee that I'm working with, and we'll present a plan to you to do reductions at our November and December board meetings. In addition to the general fund, and when I talk with these numbers, that's our basic operating fund, but we have other funds like the bond fund. We have a fund where the base program is run through. But the other fund that's of significance probably for our budget is Fund 40. It's a special capital outlay fund. It's also on this sheet. And I'll break that down in a few minutes, but it's made up of capital resources we get, predominantly from the sale of properties. And we actually saw a little bit of a decline, but we have ability to use those funds for one-time purchases, which is actually helping our budget. And I'll speak to that as we go into some of the details. But I want to kind of break down those restricted funds, because $35 million is a lot of money, but how much of it is accessible to us to use as we choose? And the other question will be, how do we optimize that? All right. So on the second page, I kind of talk about the components of the ending fund balance, because again, $35 million is a lot of money, and I'll just talk about 24, 25. And as you remember, we had just shy of $11 million that was unrestricted. So I'm going to take off the $11 million unrestricted, and I end up with 24 million that's restricted. So again, $10 million is fluid money we can use as we want to a point. Half of that has to be the reserve that we're required to keep. And $10 million is a lot of money when we talk individually, but to put it in perspective of our district, $10 million is paying our staff their salary and benefits for 1 month. Okay? So about $10 million each month goes out just to cover our costs for staffing the district. That means that the 3% reserve that the state requires really only covers salary for half a month, 2 weeks. All right. The restricted funds are there, and they're for specific programs. The governor's after-school program, the Expanded Learning Opportunities program, has been a high priority, and the state invests over $4 billion a year into that. That's the largest item we have in our restricted fund. It was funded before it actually got started, so we have a reserve built in there, but we have $6 million of our $24 million is for that program. That program serves our families with after-school care and support that's provided by Right at School, Think Together, and the Boys and Girls Club. This is part of the reason our contracted services are so high, because they're paid as a contractor. So I'm going to take away $6 million for ELAP. And then a smaller piece of the Educator Effectiveness Grant. This was a multi-year grant given to us. It has to be expended. I believe it finishes this year. Is that correct? Is this the last year for? So that $422,000 that finished this past year, we will use so that we don't lose it. So a small amount compared to the ELOP. By the way, I'll say ELOP is an ongoing source too. The governor has funded it. It continues to get funded, so we'll continue to get funds to pay those contractors each year. Instructional materials for lottery, that has a balance of $1.1 million. Lottery ticket sales have a certain amount that are set aside for textbooks and instructional materials. We get $700,000 to $800,000 a year on that. So we use that to buy replacement textbooks, to make workbooks, things like that. We've established a little bit of an excess here because we've been able to use our minor funds to buy the math adoption. So we didn't have to use this for the math adoption. So that's where that $1.1 million. So between the Educator Effectiveness Grant and the instructional materials, we have about $1.5 million that I'm going to take away. And then some other small ones are ones that have disappeared. The mental health and the child nutrition are some small restricted funds to support what they say, mental health. Child nutrition is for equipment in our kitchens and improving our food service program. And then there were some very large ones, the Arts and Music Block Grant and the Learning Recovery Grant. These were given several years ago, and they are exhausted. We have finished those up, and we made sure to finish them up so that we wouldn't lose them. And we spent them by the end of this past fiscal year. One that gets mixed up with the Arts and Music Grant is the Prop 28 Arts money. Okay, Prop 28 passed, and they give about $1 billion a year to visual and performing arts in schools. Our district receives about $1 million a year. That also was forward funded. They gave us the money before we had to implement the program, so we're about a year ahead of reserves, which is also nice because if we do not get increases in it, we can absorb natural growth. So if I take those away, I'm going to take down about another $2 million.
Real quick on that.
Yes.
Prop 28, so that funds the teachers' salaries as well?
That's almost exclusively salaries. It's required that 80% be salaries, and most of those salaries are certificated. So all the new teachers who are doing visual and performing arts are funded from there. We did have some visual and performing arts teachers who were part of our budget before that, correct? So there were some that existed before that. These were the ones we added with these funds. And then literacy screenings is a new program just for some PD development. It's a little bit of some piece of change we can do to train our teachers on how to screen for literacy challenges. And the other two big areas are restricted maintenance. Another requirement by law is that we spend 3% of our expenditures to maintain our facilities. So we have an account there of about $2.6 million. And then a big ticket, the other restricted local. This is almost $12 million. When the lion's share of that is redevelopment agency money, we're going to get in the weeds here, but when they dissolved the redevelopment agencies, cities and school districts got money from that. And we do get money from that each year. It's restricted because it's supposed to go to facilities, so we are using that money. It's built up over the years, but we're going to use that money to help meet our 3% routine restricted maintenance in the years ahead. So there's about $8 million of RDA money. Very helpful for us, but it does have an end date. It will end, I believe it's 2032, so the early 2030s when that distribution will stop. And it's about $2.5 million a year. So that's been helping us offset some of our routine restricted maintenance costs. And then we also get money back from E-rate, which is the federal fund for technology. And we also get money back from Medi-Cal. We never know how much we'll get. And particularly now with the changes to Medicare and all, and we aren't sure what we'll get in the future, so we budget very conservatively for that. So those two add, again, about another $14.5 million. And I think that pretty much brings us down almost to zero unrestricted funds. But those funds, as much as they are part of the $35 million, are not really usable for ongoing costs. Some of them are. The Prop 28, those would pay teachers if we get any increases. And the Educator Effectiveness Grant would pay teachers if we get extra hourly. But the ELOP funds, that $6 million, largely is paying contractors for our after-school services.
Is 6 million out of the 8 million that was stated, or was that number inaccurate for contractors?
It probably is pretty accurate, but contractors are the after-school care, they're special ed contractors, and we work hard. I know HR has always tried to find people to hire, but we go to contractors when we have to meet obligations and we need staff.
Would it be possible to move all of the art and performing arts into the grant? You said that we had positions before that are outside of it.
We can't because you had to supplement, not supplant. That's a term where that money was meant to increase program, not to pay for existing program. Yeah, and oftentimes that's the case when we get dollars. We might be doing something which is great on us, but the new dollars don't offset those costs. They add to the program.
Are there any other grants that we're pursuing at the moment?
Not that I know of for anything besides non-visual performing arts, nothing. Okay.
No mental health.
There's a new program called SIDE, and that's where the state has allowed school districts to charge private insurance for counseling services. That's just getting off the ground, so it's not a grant, but it could be a potential revenue source. And actually, our team is working on it and is having regular meetings with the county on implementing it. I think it has potential, but I don't think we'll really see a lot. It's kind of like Medi-Cal. We can get reimbursed for services we provide.
Are we still looking at the community school grant funding?
Is the community, we were turned down, we didn't make the next round, correct? So we have not done anything further on that. Any other questions on these parts? I'm going to shift over to Fund 40 because that's, again, another source of revenue, and it's actually a part of our strategic plan as well. All right, Fund 40 is the fund for capital outlay. And this is where we put the money from the sale of properties. Probably, I guess it's 20 years ago that we sold Calero. It's probably been close to that. Calero was sold. The general rule is that when you sell school property, it has to go back into capital expenditures. But Sacramento has occasionally written legislation that alters that. Calero was done during that time, and there is, for Calero, there's, I think, about 18 million, just shy of $19 million. And it's basically unrestricted. We actually ticked it back up because we were doing some accounting. We had paid for some things out of there that we wanted to pay through for minors, so we balanced those accounts. That's why you see it tick up. And we also earn interest on this money as well. And those interest rates have ticked up to about 4%, plus or minus. So the Calero, and if you think back to our multi-year projection where we're putting money in for the deficit spending, that's what this money is. That's where the money is coming from. And that has been used frequently over time to make us positive for the 3 years. We've used it on occasion, small amounts, but we've largely been able to avoid it. And hopefully that will continue to be the case. But at the present, we don't have the other options but to use it as a placeholder to offset our deficit spending. And that's where the Santa Clara County Office of Education is going, wait a second, you've got the savings account, but when that runs out, how are you going to cover the deficit spending? The other property we sold was Minor. We closed that school several years ago. That sale price, I want to think, was $16 million or so. We have currently about $8.8 million left there. The law changed for Minor and Glider. When we sold Minor and Glider, the law said you can use the money for one-time purchases. It's not completely unrestricted. So the board passed a plan to allocate money towards retirement incentives, buying vehicles, things that we could purchase one time, and that's how we paid for the math adoption. $2.5 million paid for the math adoption. So the last two retirement incentives, which came in at probably a little bit more than $2 million, are being paid out of this rather than the general fund. Glider, a small amount because that's just an escrow account, is about $1.6 million. And that could be potentially another $25 million when it closes. But this too has a plan. We passed a plan and submitted it to the state allocation board, and they approved it for one-time monies. We made, instead of retirement incentives, we made a category called just incentives, so that we could do hiring incentives, retiring incentives, or off-schedule payments. So if we do a one-time bonus, we could actually pay it away from the general fund. So that's one of the reasons the one-time money is feasible, because the glider money would take it would come from the glider money rather than the general fund. And then on the other side, the $2.8 million, we get money when it comes to building a building, like a new data center or a tilt-up warehouse. They pay us fees. We do litigation agreements for the impacts they have from bringing students. And those have accumulated over time. That's a lot of what that $2.8 million is as well. There was also a settlement with our solar provider of about $1 million, because we're going to have some costs to upgrade and improve those facilities as well. So that's what the $2.8 million is. So the Fund 40 is available to use strategically, and we designed those one-time expense plans to do that and take pressure off the budget, because it's very hard to do an English language arts adoption and come up with $3 or $4 million all of a sudden. So when Glider closes, that's our plan on funding the English language adoption that they're piloting now. So those are the two main areas I wanted to talk about for the unaudited actuals and how we close the books. Are there any other questions about what that $35 million is in Fund 1 or what the $32 million is in Fund 40?
When you say that it's a one-time, is that once a year? Is that once every? How does that look?
I tend to look at one time as like 5 years, like an asset. So an adoption is something you do every so many years for math, right? So yes, we're going to do another math adoption. It's not for the end of time, but it is a one-time expense, not a recurring annual expense. And the same with like a vehicle or a school bus, right? So they're what I call assets that we consider having a 5-year lifespan. Is kind of a general rule of thumb. The retirement incentives, for example, they're paid once to the people and then they're not paid again, but if we offer it again, they're paid once again. All right.
Really quick, on the on the 2.8 million, what is that restricted to? Because if it's coming to first increase in students.
The fees that we offer mitigation agreement should go towards capital or student services facilities for students. So it's a little more fluid though. So we can, it's probably like, it's not as fluid as the Calero fund, but more defined than the minor and glider plans. Or I'm sorry, less defined than the minor and glider plans. Yeah. So overall, I think our unaudited actual will show our budget to be ended up where we thought it would end up. When I come back with the first interim in December, you'll see a budget that's different than what I presented in June, because we'll have more money after the state approved one-time dollars that we didn't budget for because we didn't know about. So oftentimes what you see in the June budget versus the end of the year is very different, as talked about in the public comments, because when we budget, we oftentimes don't know all the numbers that are going to come. And word just came out that ELOP funding is likely to increase as well next year. We didn't budget that much. So we will see more revenues coming in. We will likely see more expenditures as well. And then we will see things that are budgeted, like site monies for their Title I or whatnot, that may not get spent and roll forward. So they'll show up as not expended by the end of the year.
All right. Thank you, Associate Superintendent Evans, for the presentation and the report. I do think that it was very helpful for you to elucidate, the general fund versus Fund 40, because that does come up a lot. And it was helpful for the board to really understand how the general fund is divided between restricted and unrestricted, and more importantly, how that restricted funding is being allocated. I thought that was very helpful. And then also understanding the different restrictions across the different Fund 40 accounts as well. So thank you for doing that. At this time, I'll go ahead and motion that the Board of Trustees approve the 24-25 annual financial report, unaudited actuals / SACS report as presented. Can I get a second, please?
Second.
Do we have any public comment cards?
No.
Do we have any further board discussion? All right, let's go ahead and do a roll call vote.
Member Yolaka? Member Martinez?
Aye.
Member Torres? Aye. Vice President Adair? Aye. President Yu?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Access to action item 7.2, resolution number 1526-09/25, approval of the resolution of intent to dedicate a public utility easement to the Pacific Gas and Electric Company for electric distribution system upgrades. Associate Superintendent Evans, please present this item.
Thank you, President Yu. Yes, it's recommended for the board to approve resolution 1526-09/25 for a PG&E public utility easement. This easement will be right on the edge near the curb at 6670 San Anselmo Way. That's where San Anselmo Elementary or Stratford, one of our leasees, is currently. The proposed easement covers about 158.4 square feet, and it would allow PG&E to access the site and install and maintain a pad-mounted transformer as part of an upgrade for the electric distribution system for the neighborhood. From what I was told, there are many people putting in solar and things like that, so they wanted to increase their capacity, and they were looking for a space to put that one transformer. We worked with them, and we're asking you to grant this intent for an easement. The process is multiple steps because we're taking our property and giving an easement away. So it requires, first of all, for us to do this step, which is announcing that we have this intent to grant an easement. If you pass that intent, then I will work on the next step, which is posting and announcing it and publishing it so that the public knows. And we will finish up the final contract with PG&E. And if all finishes up on time in October, we will bring back for a public hearing the actual granting of the easement. PG&E will pay us $5,600 for the use of the land. It'll be a one-time lump sum. And we also asked for an amount of $10,000 because there are a fair amount of legal fees and staff time, and this offsets the costs there. So it will be a total influx of $15,600 to help alleviate the cost of energy put into granting this easement. Are there any questions I can answer?
So, I'm sorry, this would be permanently controlled by PG&E, have no...
Yeah, it would be like an easement where they have access to the line, or the gas company having access up to your meter. This is right at the curb at the driveway going into San Anselmo, so it will have very little impact on the function of our property. But it is the easement that we would have to undo in the future.
And they're giving $5,000 for this one time, that's it?
Yes, because it's just the one square of land. It's the 158 square feet.
And there's no rental options?
No, the easements, as our easement, we don't, most of our easements are with utilities, don't have a monthly or annual assessment.
So is this a box, or is it's a lock box that's going to be placed outside on a curb where community or anyone can?
Yeah, it's, when you walk down the street, you sometimes see those electrical boxes that are maybe 18 inches, 2 feet wide by 3 feet and 4 feet high. That's about the size of it.
And again, we own that property where Stratford was actually on the way here. It's about a block and a half away from here.
Yes.
Does that community know yet, or we're waiting until we come to this place?
I don't know what PG&E has communicated, but we'll communicate our intent to put out the easement and issue the easement. My understanding from PG&E is that it was an interest people had who were trying to increase their solar and things like that at their homes. So that's one of the reasons PG&E is moving to put in this transformer.
And then again, as far as, so I did a little bit of research on like what that entails, and it looks like it should be covered or protected. Does that school have vandalism or anything that we've ever seen or heard of? Because again, this is a liability, and does that affect our insurance policies and things like that? Are we covering that? Or does PG&E cover that? We as a district liability, things like that?
PG&E would be responsible for the box itself, and it is an enclosure and locked space, so people can't access it. People could paint it or tag it, they could kick it or damage it, they could hit it with a car. So there are potential damages that could happen just because of its location, as is true with any of those boxes around.
And was this the only location that they were looking at?
We actually asked for some other locations. Some of them were more on the property, but this was the most feasible for them, and it also was kind of off the campus, away from student activity and all as well. So it ended up being the best selection of the choices.
I'm sorry. The way I understand this is, it will no longer be our property.
Well, an easement, they have the right to use it. We still own the property, but it's just like where the sidewalk is, that's part of your personal property of your home, but it's the easement of the city. So we do officially hold title to it, but it is a recorded deed that PG&E has an easement right.
So then if we ever decide to sell the property, we would have to, for any reason, we would have to first get the easement released.
The easement generally carries forward with the property.
So the new owners, they would have to accept the easement.
That would be part of the title search and all that they would go through, and it would be announced that you have this easement on this property. And there are other easements on most of our properties too, where the gas line comes into our meters and things like that.
Yeah.
Is this the first time we're using this, or we're doing this on one of our school properties?
No, we actually had to do it at the district office when we put in the transformer there for the electric buses. We had to give PG&E an easement to get onto our property from the curb.
And were we paid for that?
I don't recall that we were paid for that one, but that was in our interest because we were trying to get the chargers set up for our buses.
Has there been any difficulties with that?
No, the timing, it just is a slow process, but it was not any difficulty for us.
So does it entail like digging, and is
Yes.
it going to cause community closure, the school closure, or any type of thing? Because it sounds like it's a major digging.
There will be some, there'll be activity in digging and plumbing for this. I know the one they did for us at the district office was much larger on a bigger scale. And it was a matter of a few days. Once they had all the equipment, they came in and they took care of it.
There's a program through the city of San Jose for boxes like this, utility boxes, to do art. Is this something that we can look forward or talk to PG&E as we move forward with this process, to have some kind of community-driven art project there to engender some goodwill with our community?
Yeah, absolutely. And I know there was one community member there who was using the San Anselmo parking lot for that kind of day of coming out and celebrating the community. So there might be residents who are interested in that. I see those around my neighborhood. So if we have information, we can certainly investigate that and see if there's an interest.
Sure. Okay, thank you.
Does it work? It's a good question, Mark. During this discussion, was there a discussion about being an ongoing conversation, or was it only a one-time conversation?
No, this has been going on for probably close to a year, I would say. We've had multiple conversations and just kind of talking about where we want to put it, where would we like it, where can they put it. We were talking about one location, and it was with a bunch of tree roots, which created a different problem. So it's a conversation that's been going on definitely since 2024, and I'd say probably about a year.
No, because my understanding is it's $15,600 one time, right? That's it?
That's a one-time cost.
There was no discussion of having an ongoing, them paying us.
No, they were going to give a grant, a payment for the use of the land, you know, and they're basically paying us for being able to use it indefinitely, set up the deed, and then the other $10,000 is really just to cover the cost and time, staff, and legal support.
I'll be honest with you, Mark. Generally, I'm comfortable with the idea. It's just the location is right in front of the school. Kind of detracts from the overall ambiance of it. I went to San Jose, so that's why I'm a little bit more picky on it. But like she said, if there's a way to like decorate it and do something with it, if we can write that into the easement or something like that.
We have not finalized it. I can talk with them. It might be something we want one of our schools to do. Maybe it's something Stratford wants to do. We can check into the community. We can see what we can do to make that less of an electrical box and more appealing.
We have the problem, it's like 20 feet away from it.
Right, exactly. So we're not far from there either, so.
Yeah, so, okay.
As far as what the next step is, I understand that at this point, we're just putting it to the table. Thereafter, I'm assuming that the community will either have an opportunity to make that decision, or what is their decision-making gonna, because we're making a decision to say that we would like to see that move forward, and yet with this vote, are we voting to have it there?
At this point, you're simply saying you have the intent to go into an agreement for an easement. Then we'll publicize it for the community to know. We have to print it in a newspaper as well as post it in 3 locations. And then we will bring it back for a public hearing where the community can respond and talk if they want to about that. And then you would actually vote to grant the easement at that time.
Okay.
So this is simply to let the public know that this is being discussed and it's not being sprung on them at one board meeting.
And this is PG&E that approached you in regards to this?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Okay.
All right, seeing as this is an action item, can I get a motion and a second?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Do we have any public comment cards?
None.
Any further board discussion? Let's go ahead and do a roll call vote, please.
Aye.
Member Martinez? Member Torres? Vice President Rivera? President Yu?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay, let's move on to closing items. So item 8.1, correspondence and board discussion. We may now hear from board members regarding correspondence from individuals and/or organizations regarding district programs or services. Board members may report on meetings attended or other related district matters. At this time, board members may also report on committee assignments. We can go down the line, or you can chime in.
I'll start on the Santa Clara County School Board Association. We have a lot of events coming up on September 17th. From 7 to 8:30, you can log into Zoom and get an update on the federal and state education budgets. On September 21st, we have a mixer with other school board members from 1 to 3 p.m. And then on September 24th, we'll have a lunch and learn on unhoused students and how we're addressing them countywide.
So I attended a couple of events in the last couple of months, and so I'd like to just share those. I attended 2 summer school sites at Santa Teresa. I will say that staff raved of the adaptable equipment that all students can use, which was perfect for every level. It was wonderful to see little ones doing hands-on projects and building while learning. This was over at Santa Teresa over the summer. I also was able to join in the Elevate Math and Computer Science Institute at Edenville. They featured engaging applications of math and computer science. Students were coding to create interactive content houses and board games. I love seeing all the students in the math classes engaged in learning, and I was there on the last day and they were still very engaged, and so that was wonderful. I attended the National Night Out over at Anderson and also the Neighborhood Association for Minor Park. And I saw Principal Humphrey Butler was engaging with families and passing out free backpacks. I connected with the Home and School Club officers, Rayanne and Michelle, and then Viri. And then in my correspondence, the Academic Consulate General of Israel in San Francisco sent out an invitation to board members for an educational delegation to visit Israel, and Israeli educators, school leaders, and policymakers, as well as visit Jewish Arab integrated schools to explore models of shared education and more. There was a group of parents that had voiced their opposition to this trip and had signed a petition for their stand regarding this controversial trip. As this is not a district-sponsored trip, it would have needed approval from the board to attend. I've had many discussions regarding the controversial trip, and I believe that it would have been an amazing opportunity to attain shared ideas. Unfortunately, I cannot attend this event due to my time constraints and also travel advisories. I attended a meeting with Mark Evans and a nonprofit to locate long-term rental for within our district. I was able to see the process and how it's done. It was great information, so thank you for your time. And it is a possibility to generate more funds on an ongoing basis with nonprofits. I was also able to attend a meeting with Shannon Bowie. I sat in a meeting with Shannon Bowie and 3 San Jose State students who have completed their chat hours at one of our district sites. She gave them great information, got them all signed up for a sub-permit while they attain their prelim credentials and hopefully join our induction program here at Oak Grove. Lastly, I did attend 2 of the back-to-school nights, one at Hayes, and it was so much fun seeing the families excited to hear all about the new upcoming school year. Principal Cochran and Carla welcomed me, and I was able to visit classrooms, meet teachers and parents. I really liked the way they set aside 2 allotted time frames for families to come in. They were half-hour each, and I saw teachers and parents asking great questions, and it was well attended over at, that was the Hayes. And at Anderson, it was amazing. Miss Cindy welcomed me. Principal Humphrey Butler introduced me to the families at Anderson. Dr. Patricia Madargon-Dobi guided me through the classrooms and shared some details about the math curriculum, ELA, and other curricula used in the classrooms. I love seeing so much family engagement, asking great questions to the start of this new school year, and the wonderful partnership with the San Jose Police Department officers. Thank you.
All right, I will share that I was able to attend the groundbreaking for our new track and field at Herman and Bernal, along with several of my trustee colleagues up here. Super excited to see what the finished product will look like several months from now, I suppose in the spring. Happy to see those measured P-bonds, at work. And then I am looking forward to my school site visits with the executive team in the next few weeks. So with that said, that concludes my report. We can now adjourn. So I'll go ahead and motion to adjourn the meeting. Can I have a second, please? Second. All in favor? Aye. Hearing none opposed, the regular board meeting on September 11th, 2025 is adjourned at 8:22 p.m. Our next regular board meeting of the Oak Grove School District will be held on October 16, 2025 at Davis Intermediate School. Good night, everyone.